We passed the 400 parts per million carbon dioxide in our atmosphere over the weekend, and we are now at carbon dioxide levels that precede, well, we actually have been for some time, but it's now like really in our face, 400 parts per million, that precede the emergence of humans. 3 million years ago was the last time the atmosphere had 400 parts per million of carbon dioxide. And at that time, it was Homo erectus, as I recall, or maybe Australopithecus, or however it's. I'll have to look at a human family tree. But we've only been around 165,000 years. We've never seen anything like this before. And we'll see where this goes. And to that, the Wall Street Journal published this fascinating little piece about CO2 is what plants crave. It was published by Harrison Schmidt, William Happer. What they didn't disclose is that neither of these guys have ever written any peer-reviewed research, that one of them is Happer is the chairman of the George Marshall Institute, which gets money from Exxon and from the Koch brothers. And Schmidt is a director at the industry-funded Heartland Institute. Same thing. And Schmidt has said, by the way, the obvious path of the United States under the current Congress and president is National Socialism, the domestic repression and internal ambitions of the Third Reich. That's his thoughts on President Obama. And Happer, the other author, compared mainstream climate science to Holocaust propaganda. Apparently, the Holocaust was propaganda. Myron Ebell is with us. He is the director of the Center for Energy and Environment at the Competitive Enterprise Institute, the conservative think tank. Myron, welcome back to the program. It's been quite some time since you've been on.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
I read this Wall Street Journal op-ed even before I dug a little and discovered who these guys were who wrote it. Just in slack-jawed amazement. I mean, plants do inhale carbon dioxide. We do drink water. If you drink, like 5-6 gallons of water in a relatively short period of time, you will die. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this.
Well, Tom, I think Jack Schmidt and Will Happer make two main points. One is that the carbon dioxide is not having the serious impacts that have been claimed for it. That is to say, the models predicting rapid rises in temperatures have not borne out. We have had.
You're talking about the 15 and 20-year-old models that.
No, I'm talking about all the models that are being run by the IPCC, the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and the various universities connected.
Right. The IPCC.
They all show significant warming, and we haven't had any warming now for about 15 years. So.
No, we're up 0.8 of a degree from the norm, and first of all, and just taking the last 15 years. Secondly, and rather than decades or centuries in totality, is rather odd. And third, the IPCC's original projection for warming, when we weren't hitting those early on in the 90s, and we didn't through the 90s and through the first couple of years of the 2000s, everybody's wondering where did all that. What happened? And it turns out that the oceans have been absorbing that carbon dioxide like crazy. It's causing ocean acidification. It's causing the die-off of coral reefs and plants, and the oceans are also absorbing a lot of that heat. So the Earth as an entire system is...
hang on, Tom. The oceans can absorb more carbon dioxide if they're cooling. They absorb carbon dioxide when they cool, and they give it off. The oceans put it out into the atmosphere when they're warming. So under your theory, the oceans must be cooling.
No, that's not true. The oceans will absorb carbon dioxide relative to its concentration in the air.
No, Tom, I'm sorry. There's a lot of work done on the oceans and how much carbon dioxide and the rate that they can take it up. And it doesn't. The research that's done does not support your theory. So I'm just.
It's not a theory. It's a scientific fact that the oceans have been absorbing more carbon dioxide as we have been putting more of it into the atmosphere. This is simple osmosis. This is simple the surface of the water is like a semi-permeable membrane,
explain what the oceans were doing when there was 3,000 or 4,000 parts per million rather than 300 or 400 parts.
They
per
had
million.
Massively more carbon dioxide in them, of course, Myron.
Tom,
the carbon dioxide levels in the oceans are a reflection of the carbon dioxide levels in the air. All you have to do is go back and look at the science that's been done on the Permian extinction. This is peer-reviewed stuff published in 2003 by Wignall and I'm forgetting the other guy's name that showed that when carbon dioxide levels jacked the temperature of the surface up above 5 degrees, the ocean was absorbing that carbon dioxide and absorbing that heat, and to the point where it started melting methane crystals, which nuked the planet.
Right. Okay. Let me make my point again. The predicted very severe negative impacts of carbon dioxide have so far been hiding somewhere. And
it's called Hurricane Sandy.
Hide it in the oceans or hide it wherever you want. They've been hiding.
They're not hiding. They are noticed?
They are hiding because
Australia's on fire. The United States is on fire.
Tom, I thought you said we had to look at centuries, not a couple years. Now you're talking about one event. It's been really cold in Minnesota and Omaha and Wyoming. They're
very concerned that the loss of sea ice up in the Arctic is causing changes in the Northern Hemisphere's weather patterns.
Now, look, if you think that we have to look at centuries, then I hope you won't resort to pointing one event. Now, let me get to the other point that Will Happer and Jack Schmitt make, and that is that the beneficial effects of higher carbon dioxide levels on the biosphere are very well attested in the scientific literature, going back hundreds of experiments going back to the 19th.
Myron, we have less than a minute. A real quick question for you: If you were about to walk across the street with a blindfold on, and 97 out of 100 experts told you would be hit by a car and killed, would you take the word of those 3 people and do it?
It depends on who the experts were. And unfortunately, the experts, those so-called 97 experts on your side, most of them are not very expert, and many of them are...
Don't you think if there's even as Dick Cheney said, we invaded Iraq based on a 1% probability that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. He said anything over 1%, we should sacrifice the lives of thousands of Americans and hundreds of thousands of Iraqis. Don't you think that at least if there's a 1% chance, we should be taking this seriously?
No, because I didn't agree with Dick Cheney. And I'm sorry that you did, Tom.
I didn't on the case of Iraq.
Well, then he's not a good example for your point, Tom.
Okay, perhaps you're right. And we'll leave it at that. Myron Ebell, the director of the Center for Energy and Environment of the Competitive Enterprise Institute, CEI.org is their website. Thank you, Myron.